have to remember everything we talked about.
No. Alright, so, yeah, just give it a few seconds.
Do my makeup.
Oh, we should get a model airplane to hold, and we can use it as a. Oh God! Go get your model airplane.
I'll get the closest thing to an Airbus A320 I have.
Get the A380.
Yep. Go through the twin engine 787.
What difference does it make? It's Lego, right?
It's not
No,
Lego.
it's an actual model.
Oh, nice. I was gonna say.
Because this one's twin engine, so.
I mean, it'll. It's not the same material or the same CI, but okay.
A320s don't have chevrons.
Shush.
Is it to scale?
With what?
It's to scale. The question is, what scale do you mean?
Like, is it to scale for the airplane that's supposed to be?
It's a 1 to 200 scale model of a Boeing 787.
Did you just almost say Airbus?
Yeah, almost.
Because we were watching a movie about Airbus.
Yeah,
we were watching. It's an Airbus A320. Okay, this is probably going in the bloopers.
This is a cardinal crime right here.
Who's?
I can't believe you've done this.
Not Boeing. I'm not going.
Oh.
Hey,
I remember that.
Because you were the one that crashed.
Sully, proving to the world that if it's not Boeing, I'm not going, is a very important thing and is well founded.
So you're telling me if you throw 5 geese through a CF6 at full thrust, it's not going to blow up like those did?
It would probably blow up less than an A380.
Oh.
A320 gear drop.
Whatever. It's an Airbus.
Oh, no, this is an ME-163 because it drops its wheels after takeoff.
I mean, oh yeah.
Oh.
You know, should we take the gear off because it landed without gear?
Okay.
Also landed without engines.
Well, they were still on the plane.
Alright. Well, it's not like a wheels drop.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome, one and all, to Afterthoughts, where we go and talk about our thoughts about a movie as close to after the movie gets done as we possibly can. So yeah, I'm Braxton.
I'm Luke. I'm Noah.
I'm Tyler.
And we just got done watching the fantastic thriller called Sully. Sully, for those of you who don't know, is directed by Clint Eastwood and it stars Tom Hanks and Aaron Eckhart. And it is the story about the miracle on the Hudson where they landed the A320 on the Hudson River back in 2009. And it's basically what it's about. So yeah, we're going to give you our thoughts and this will be a spoiler-free review. We're going to have our extra thoughts about the actual certain details in the movie in our spoiler section, which will be coming out directly after this. So with that, let's get underway. What did y'all think of the movie?
Well, overall, they did a pretty darn good job.
Okay.
I mean, you know, it goes along with the events exactly like they happened, and it describes everything pretty much exactly what happened. And for it being, you know, based off true events, that's good.
Yeah, I can get behind that. What do you think, Noah?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely covered a part of the whole incident that I never really thought about, like the whole hearing and just like what could have happened and like what could have been held against the pilot and all that. Like I never actually thought about that when the real thing happened. So it's an interesting new perspective.
Yeah, it's interesting to have that sort of as a person that wasn't in like that sort of situation, looking from the outside in, you can you say like, oh, he's a hero, this is a fantastic thing he did, but then you actually get into the nitty gritty of like the FAA and the NTSB and all these scary sounding government organizations that are based around like transportation, flight and stuff like that, and you see that there's actually a lot more stuff that goes on than what you think.
Yeah, this movie really shows you from the pilot's perspective, you know, not just as the incident's happening, but, you know, we're in the direct aftermath. And, you know, what the pilot has to go through in addition to all the emotional stress.
Exactly. What do you think, Tyler?
Well, when you think about movies like this, you know, you said 2009, right?
Yeah, this is 2009, I think.
Alright, so I was definitely old enough to remember it. The thing about movies like this is when it happened, it was just absolutely dissected by the media. and you just heard about everything. In the days following, you got the transcripts, and we actually, you got to see, the meeting, actually, what is it, the FSTV or
NSTV.
or is it NTSB?
NTSB.
NTSB, sorry. God damn it. Oh, I'm so good at this stuff, and I'm screwing it up, and I'm sorry.
And you got to see the NTSB, live as it happened, and you got to see, everything that, as it happened for real. And so I think one of the challenges in creating a fictional movie like this and recreating the events is obviously you're going to be under a lot of scrutiny as to your accuracy, but it's also going to be hard coming up with almost new material for the movie because everything that's in the movie we've almost already seen almost. There's almost
Sort of drowned in it for a while.
Yeah, I guess you could say drowned.
And I think it is good that they.
Yeah. Luckily, nobody drowned.
Yeah.
The plane did, however, or parts of the plane.
Yeah. So I think it's good that they waited long enough after it happened to where it's kind of left our minds, and now we're bringing this back with a new perspective. So it's not just repeating the same things we've heard directly after.
When did Flight 93 come out?
I don't know.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
I'm trying to figure out how long afterwards that was, because yeah,
a few
I
years.
remember that, yeah.
It was a few years.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, as far as the movie as a whole goes, I thought it was very accurate. It was very interesting. As far as things I didn't like, some of the character development done with some of the supporting characters, I thought was way out of left field and completely unnecessary. I thought some of the plot things that came up randomly through there, I felt like they were a bit forced. Like they had no merit to the story other than to add drama, but in the end, it came out being awkward and it really didn't add anything to the story. Like you heard it once and oh, we never hear anything about it again, and that sort of stuff. Also, as far as the CGI goes, there were a couple of issues with it, which most of them we can most likely attribute to there were no videos of this happening. There's no known perfect way that everything went down. So a lot of what the digital artists had to do was mostly eyeball and stuff. So that I'll give it to them. There are a few things though that were definitely noticeable if you knew what to look for. That didn't add up. Kind of took a little bit away from the story and all. But yeah, for the most part, I can push that past. Yeah, that's my thoughts about the whole matter.
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about the character of Sully himself.
Yeah.
Because, Tom Hanks did an incredible job of, portraying that character and, kind of showing the emotions that the pilot would be going through,
right.
After this kind of incident. And, it was some really good acting, so you really feel like you're right there with him.
Yeah, it's Tom Hanks.
Well, watching it, and I just remember what the title of the movie was, Captain Phillips. Now, I know, obviously the plot is very different, but his character almost seemed identical.
Mm-hmm.
And it just seemed like the same person. And I don't know how well it reflects Captain Sully in real life, but his character just seemed like it was just Tom Hanks, just in a flight uniform.
Yeah, I mean, that just goes to show how good of an actor he is in here.
Yeah.
What do you think, Noah?
I think I said my part.
All right.
And going back to some of the other characters, the one guy that just stuck in my head, his name was Charles from the NTSB, and he was one of the members of the board that was created to review the events of this flight.
Right.
And one thing that kind of annoyed me was how almost, I really don't want to use the word, but evil.
Yeah, how we
But
want
he's not actually evil, of course, but it seemed like the movie just really wanted to give you someone to hate just so they could back up Captain Sully and that he did the right thing. And here's the NTSB who just wants to make it look like he did, he made a mistake and he just lost the money and.
Yeah. That going off that, that was definitely another one of my main gripes I had with the film, going off like what I said about the character development. Yeah, the acting was great. Most of that I would relate to just Clint Eastwood's directing style, like what you said earlier. I think they just did it because he thought that the movie needed somebody to hate, and that's honestly, it doesn't really need somebody to hate. I think that the way they portrayed him was almost it seemed unnatural.
It seemed kind of like the whole basis of the conflict in the movie, though. I mean, like, it just didn't really seem like there would have been much substance or conflict in the movie if they didn't have that whole suspense over the hearing.
Yeah.
And whether or not they were going to, like, conclude whether he was just being a sloppy pilot or if he actually had no other choice than to do what he did.
Right.
But that's, kind of the trouble about doing a movie based on real life events, is they're not always as suspenseful and full of drama as, what we expect out of modern day movies. So you kind of have to fabricate some of that stuff, even if it isn't, exactly the main point of what happened. You have to bring out certain parts, just so you can keep the audience, activated.
Yeah, as unrealistic as it is, I think it would have made for a boring movie if they left that out.
Yeah, I can understand that. Like, I understand the purpose of it. I just think maybe you could have taken a different turn with it, but yeah, the movie did need suspense added to it. So yeah, so that's the majority of my thoughts about the movie. All in all, pretty solid film. It was enjoyable. It was suspenseful. It was interesting. It ran for about an hour and 40 minutes the entire time. I didn't really feel that bored. There was always something interesting going on, whether it be cool CGI. Watching an airplane fly. Watching an airplane fly or fall, I guess, in this case. Yeah, so, glide is the better word. So, yeah,
CGI
I know
could have been a little bit better.
Right. But, yeah, I know in the car on the way back from the theater, I said I was going to give this movie a 7.5 out of 10, but, after hearing you guys talk about it more, I'm giving a little more leeway to some of the character development. So, I'm going to give Sully a solid 8 out of 10. That is that's my final score. What about you guys?
I think I'm going to agree with that. I would give it a solid 8 out of 10, because I think, it does a great job portraying it, but, the inherent part of this movie is it's a documentary, so, it can't be as exciting or suspenseful as some other movies that aren't based on real events.
Right. Well, I think I have to disagree with you there. If you've seen Inglourious Bastards, there's been about 10 million movies about World War II, but Inglourious Bastards was able to take something that's just, been documented down to the minute, and to just completely flip the script and create a really interesting fictional movie. And obviously not what Sully has done, but I feel like there just, could have been some improvement.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I have to give it an 8.5. I enjoyed it, and I really liked the new perspective I got over the whole incident.
Mm-hmm. All right, for sure. So, yeah, I think that's going to conclude our non-spoiler discussion of Sully. And yeah, that's our thoughts. Yeah, for the most part, I think we're done. So thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoy. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, what you thought about our review, what you thought about Sully, and what you guys would like to see next. So, au revoir, and have a fantastic evening, everybody.
Disclaimer, this is a 787, not an A320. Don't get confused.
Good on you, mate. Good on you, mate.
Flaming bypass.
Flaming bypass.
Edit that out.